want to mention that in case anybody else wants to?
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Remind me if I forget. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council to order. We do have a quorum tonight. Please make sure that your cell phones are silenced. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we do humbly come before Thee this evening to thank Thee for the opportunity that we have to meet as a town council. We're grateful for the men and women that serve this community and for all that they do to help to ensure that things will continue to run smoothly within our town and to meet the needs of our citizens. Today, Father, as we are approaching Veterans Day, we are very grateful for all those that have served our country, those that have given their lives, and those that have served to defend the freedoms and liberty that we enjoy. May we always remember to thank them for their service and their dedication to our country. We're thankful for those that are still serving at this time and pray for a blessing to be upon them wherever they may be throughout the world. Bless and protect them and bless their families. We're grateful for the moisture that we have received and pray that Thou continue to bless us with the needed moisture to preserve our forests and our rivers and our lakes and our aquifers. We thank Thee for these blessings. We're grateful for the many businesses and that serve this community and pray for Thy blessings upon them as we go into the winter, that they'll be able to be sustained in all that they do. We thank Thee for all that we have and enjoy. And say this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Keith. Item B on the agenda is call to the public. This is a business meeting of the Town Council. The town values and welcomes public input. Please address the council as a whole and not individual council members. Do not address staff or members of the audience. Council action on items brought up and called to the public is limited by the open meeting law. The council may direct staff to study the matter and reschedule for further consideration at a later date. Items on the agenda are not heard during call to the public, and individuals are limited to 3 minutes. I have no requests to speak tonight. So we'll move on to item C, which is our consent agenda. All items listed are considered routine matters and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless a council member requests that an item or items be removed for discussion. Council members may ask questions without removal of the items from the consent agenda. Items removed are considered in their normal sequence unless called out of sequence. We have one item on our consent agenda tonight. Are there any questions from the council? Vice Mayor?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D is business before the council. Public comment will be taken at the beginning of each agenda item after the subject has been announced by the mayor and explained by staff. Any citizen who wishes may speak one time for 5 minutes on each agenda item before or after council discussion. Questions from council members, however, may be directed to staff or a member of the public through the mayor at any time. Item D1 is the recognition of Public Works Director Matt Patterson for receiving the 2024 Arizona Transportation Champion Award during the Arizona Rural Transportation Summit. I was not privileged to go, but I think that we as a council and a community realize the value that Matt brings to us. And so to me, it's really refreshing that he gets recognized on the bigger picture here. So Vice Mayor Buse attended that meeting, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Okay, thank you. Yes, it was a real pleasure to attend this summit with Matt. And I had just gotten, I was sitting down to lunch, and this is Jennifer O'Connor, who came up to me. She said, we're giving Matt a an award. Can you tell me something about him? And so anyway, so we got that handled all right. But then Matt was out golfing, and I was a little nervous because he wasn't getting there in time, and the awards were coming, but he showed up. But it was a real pleasure to be able to attend there with Matt. And the golf, by the way, was part of the whole thing there. He got up at 4:30 in the morning, I think, to drive down there so that he could be part of that in the morning. But let me just go over what was said about Matt there, and maybe I'll add a few things there. But so Director Kenneth Matthew Patterson is a highly valued asset to the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and has been a tremendous advocate for transportation projects in our Pinetop-Lakeside community and in Navajo County. He has implemented cutting-edge technology that improves our efficiency and productivity as well as eliminating costly mistakes. Now, Matt was one of the first ones in the state, I believe, who got GPS machine controls for the heavy equipment, which saves a lot of time, is much more efficient, and does a much better job. He has successfully leveraged numerous grants in order to get much-needed projects completed. He is constantly looking ahead to identify the needs of our community and working to meet them. He is just as comfortable working with highly complex computer applications as he is operating a snowplow, scraper, or front-end loader. Matt has often purchased equipment through ADOT surplus sites to save the town money, and in many of those cases, we wouldn't have some of that equipment if he hadn't been able to find it that way. He designed and developed our collection center, which has been recognized as a standard by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. He is a great leader, and because of this, we have a public works department that is second to none in the state, right here in our own small community of Pinetop-Lakeside. And I totally agree with that. Something that was interesting is I went to this summit, and the award he received was a transportation champion. But what I found out is Matt is very well known in the state of Arizona, and not only is he well known, but he is very well respected for the work that he does. And it's a real blessing that we have Matt here as our Public Works Director in Pinetop-Lakeside, and I'm grateful to have him here, and he certainly is deserving of this award.
Okay, you want to present what they gave him, please?
Good job, Matt.
Thank you,
Yeah, I was
guys.
going to say, while Sterling's presenting this, are there any other council members that have anything to add? I think we all feel the same. So,
Congratulations, Matt. Very deserving.
Thank you, Mayor. Just quickly, and I know we all got lives to get to, but I just want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity. I've had great staff and management to work with. I have one of the best teams, I believe, in the state. The guys show up I was telling Sterling, where do you go that the guys show up an hour before their shift? I'm always constantly trying to beat them there. And it started with 6, now it's 5:30, and we don't start till 7, so I gave up at 6, and I try to make it there by 6. But they all like to get there and drink their coffee and chat, and the group that we have is just incredible. And I think that you all have helped us create something so positive for this community that we've never had. So it's a blessing to be part of that, and I appreciate all of your help and all your guys' support. So thank you.
thank you for everything you do and for the team you've assembled. They're all great people and get a lot done, I think. Get a lot done. Anybody else want to add anything? Councilor Craigbaum?
I am just so grateful. I can't think of the number of times over the 6 years that I've been on the council that I have just been blown away by your foresight and the things that you plan years in advance. And you think, oh my gosh, how is this ever going to happen? And then they do, because you are so excellent at organizing and getting people to do the things that should be done and in the right way. Getting that Trimble machine, I mean, that, I don't know if that's the only one that started out in the state, but I'm not surprised. I mean, it's just an example of how forward-looking you have been, and what a pleasure it is to know you. And not only that, you let me drive the paver. Thank you.
Always a bonus, right, when you get to drive the paver.
Counselor Smith?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that you make our job so much easier, because we're not answering those questions anymore about, when are you going to fix my roads? You know, well, we got a plan. You know, you set that up a long time ago. And I'll just add a little bit to what Counselor Kriegbaum said. We were just talking about what we're doing 10, 15 years from now, and he's telling me what we're going to do, you know, with the new land and how we're going to integrate that and how we're going to use it and get utilities, all the things like that. So, yeah, foresight, yeah, amazing. Yeah, we are really lucky to have you. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, we'll move on then to item D2, which is a public hearing, information and consideration of ordinance number 24-477, amending Town Code Title II, Chapter 2.04.100, Section A, Mayor Election and Duties.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor and Vice Mayor and Council, you know, we've made changes to this particular part of the code over the years since I've been here. There's one part that we missed, and we were preparing we have that council training manual, and we were reviewing that, and Christy was looking through that, and she noticed that in the election process over the last, I think, 8 to 10 years has changed for municipalities. Used to be we'd have our elections, a primary and a general, like in April and May, which then this was the way it was written, and the vice mayor, and after the mayor was seated and the vice mayor it was in June, but they never changed that. And then the election schedule changed to where we have a primary in August and the general in November, and we still neglected to change that. So thank you, Christy, for catching that. So basically all it does is just makes it, we don't know what that date would be, if it could be in November or December, but it'll be after the new council is seated every 2 years on the even years. So that's the only change we're making to this. Sweet and simple.
Thank you. Are there any questions? This is a public hearing. Is there anybody that would like to address us? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public hearing.
I'll make the motion.
Counselor Smith.
I move to adopt ordinance number 24-477, amending the Town Code Title II, Chapter 2.04.100, Mayor-Election and Duties, Section A, defining the date for election for Vice Mayor for the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Council as presented.
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Item D3 is information, discussion, and consideration of resolution number 24-1258, rescinding resolution number 24-1730, which declared and adopted the results of the primary election held on July 30th, 2024, and it adopt and declare the revised results of the 2024 primary election. Keith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As you'll recall, back on August the 15th, the town clerk presented this resolution certifying the election results. And then a couple of weeks ago, council member-elect Jennifer Brimhall came into my office and respectfully withdrew her candidacy. Now, since the the council hadn't been sworn in, that allowed us to then rescind resolution and present this new one for you tonight, which will include Councilmember Jerry Smith as one of our council members that will swear in on the 21st.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
I just make a comment. I think we ought to mention that she did that due to medical
Yes, for health
reasons for
considerations.
right now, so.
Yes, and I think we all join together in wishing her return to good health. And maybe a future date she can serve with us. So are there anything else? I'd entertain a motion then. Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve resolution number 241758, thereby rescinding resolution number 241730, and that declared and adopted the results of the July 30th, 2024 primary election, and declare and adopt the revised results of the 2024 primary election as written in resolution number 241758.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Keith. We'll move on to item D4, which is discussion and consideration of resolution number 24-1746, approving the equipment proposal and contract agreement with Texas Aquastore, Inc. for the construction and installation of a 100,000-gallon water storage tank at Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex. Milena.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. Pleasure to be here this evening. And as you stated, we have before you the 100,000-gallon water storage tank. We've been working on this project for quite a few years now. We came about this because we have we're referring to it as the irrigation pond at Mountain Meadow. We did some studies, and we were losing an average of 11 acre-feet of water annually, which I should have looked up how many gallons. It's a lot of water that we were losing that wasn't making it into the fields, and so onto the fields for irrigation. So we came about this grant opportunity through the Water Infrastructure Finance Authority a couple years ago. We were fortunate enough to be awarded in January, first meeting in January actually, it was approved by council. We received $250,000 toward the purchase of this tank. In addition to the tank, as part of the project, we're also including a truck fill station that will be able to give us the opportunity to, in the event there's a wildfire, we can supply some of our fire departments or Forest Service filling their trucks. Additionally, if there were any infrastructure issues with our water departments, we would be able to fill the local fire departments for any structure fires that they need to fight. So this has been a long process to come to this point. And fortunately, we were able to come across this Texas Aquastore, and they are essentially the sole proprietor of a fused glass tank. The reason that we've gone this direction is the longevity of the tank and the maintenance costs far outweigh an epoxy-lined tank. And this company has been wonderful to work with. They have met with us on site, and we've been in communication with them since, I believe the first time we met with them was in July. And we had put this out to bid as a different project. It was a hot-dipped galvanized tank. And we could not get a single bid on the project. So unfortunately, we went back to the engineer, and Woodson Engineering, who is now Ardura, one of our on-call engineers, was able to re-engineer it, and we came across Texas Aquastore. So we are asking you to approve that purchase, and we're looking for installation in late July. So we'd be paying a portion of the tank up front this fiscal year that would be covered by the grant, and then paying the balance in the next fiscal year.
Okay, thank you, Milena. Any questions for Milena? Comments? Vice Mayor?
Just for clarification, and I apologize, I didn't let you know I was going to ask a question,
You're
which I
fine.
usually do, but because I know this is much costlier than the previous tank we were looking at.
It is.
But also, again, like you said, the longevity of it. What is there a warranty on this tank?
So there's warranty. It's kind of a different levels. The exterior, I believe, and I can get back to you and tell you exactly for sure, but I believe the exterior is a 5-year warranty. The glass, there's always going to be little tiny chips and that kind of thing that you'd have to expect with a glass exterior. But it's fused to the metal, so it does not interfere with the steel lining. And that's something that can be repaired very, very easily by our staff. Even they have a repair kit. But as far as the lining and the interior of the tank, I'd have to get back to you on exactly what the warranty is for that. And I apologize, I don't have that. However, I can tell you that the lifetime of the tank prior to having to do any major maintenance is 20 to 25 years.
Okay.
As opposed to the previous tank that we were looking at was 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
And if you would like, I would certainly be happy to get you the full warranty information.
Thank you, that's good.
Well, and I might comment that I have quite a bit of experience with water tanks, and having to go in and redo the interior of them is a very, very costly project.
Yes.
And you have to have somebody else come and do that. So I think getting ahead of that is probably the right decision. So anything else?
Is there any issues with the glass tank with the extreme cold temperatures we have?
No, that's certainly something that we did talk to them when we met with the Texas Aqua Store rep. They actually had one installed in Snowflake Taylor, which obviously it's a little bit different. They're a little bit lower in elevation, but it was well into the negative temperatures, and then into the extreme temperatures, the Texas heat, and then even the Texas cold too. They have a lot of them in Texas. They also have a site in Florida, and they do nationwide, and they are the only supplier of the fused glass in the United States. So there was no issues that they had with any of our temperatures.
So is it my understanding it's a steel with glass on both sides of it?
Yes,
on the
correct.
inside and the
It's
exterior?
fused,
Okay.
and when they come to install the tank, it's panels that they assemble. So they'll do essentially a ring of panels, and then they move up, and it continues from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It'll be an interesting project that we'll all probably want to go out and watch.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, if I remember right, Public Works is doing the concrete work,
We're
the base.
yes, we are doing all the civil work. We took that out of the contract to save quite an extensive amount of money. I believe it was right around $92,000 that it was going to cost. So we're doing that, as well as all of the other infrastructure and the civil work for the pump and all the concrete work and the finishing of the parking lot there.
So materials cost and all of that you'll need are in this total?
They're not in this total that you're presenting tonight, but they were in the original grant proposal that we did. So part of the cost that will come for the concrete and everything will be coming out of the parks. We have roughly $300,000 in the Mountain Meadow improvement, capital improvement budget that the tank and this would be coming out of the foundation.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
Another question. So where the pond is now, are you guys going to fill that in and use that for more parking?
Yes, that's correct. So it's already been filled in by a little over half of its capacity. And like I said, with the installation, hopefully if it's approved tonight, we'll be looking at July. So we'll be filling that in next fall and then proceeding with the rest of the project.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? Vice Mayor?
I move to adopt resolution number 24-1746, approving the equipment proposal and contract agreement with Texas Aqua Store Inc. for the construction and installation of a 100,000-gallon fused glass steel tank at Mountain Meadow Recreation Complex in Lakeside, Arizona, in an amount not to exceed $429,476, and authorize the town manager to execute all documents necessary to complete the agreement.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Melena. Appreciate all your work on this.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item D5, I believe Councilor Phillips will be recusing himself from both items D5 and D6. So D5 is information, discussion, and consideration of acceptance of right-of-way dedication deeds from residents of Pine Village Lane in Pinetop, Arizona for the purpose of road maintenance. Matt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you're all aware, we've been working on the woods drainage project for this whole summer, which we expected to last into next summer. So I think we made good progress at this, but what came along out of that was the end of Pine Village. There's a section of road down there. So I think, Vice Mayor, you used to own a house in that area too, so you kind of know what we're talking about.
Yes.
There's a section of road down there that is not in the town's right-of-way. It's basically private land. So the first CDR, which is the number D5, is moving the right-of-way into the town's jurisdiction, which we have lots of right-of-ways that we don't maintain, so it's got to go kind of in order. So we're going to do the right-of-way first. There'd be the adopting of that if you so choose. And then once we get to D6, that's the conversation about maintenance. When I met with the citizens on this section of Pine Village, they were under the understanding that it needed some work. And so we agreed to the cost of the asphalt would be their pitch in to bring it back up to our standard. There's a few things that we want to adjust just because of snow plowing. We want to make the cul-de-sac at the end a little bit larger. It'll give us a good location to turn around snow plows at the end of Pine Village. It also, we drain all the water out of the woods drainage right down the side of that road. And right now I can't help them with that. And I've always felt like that was a little bit unfair. So everything from the top of the woods runs right down the edge of the road, and it has caused some failures along that road that we'd like to clean up and help with. So the citizens out there came to me and said that they would pay $50,000 if we would take it over and take over maintenance. I looked at the numbers. I think that this is a fair number for us. It's perfect timing because we have not repaved the section above. So what we'll do is we'll go in there and grind that up, reshape it, and then we'll pave the whole thing all the way out of there, and hopefully we won't be back in that area for many years. We're planning on doing that in the springtime. As you guys all are aware, we only have a short season for asphalt, and that season has come to an end. I don't expect us to get the temperatures back up high enough where we need them to start paving again, so we're probably looking at before we can actually pave that. But that's actually a good thing because we still have dirt to remove out of there, and we still have an electric line issue that we got to get resolved that we're working on. So I kind of explained both of those CDRs at the same time, but I kind of figured you needed to know both to understand why there was two separate CDRs. Also, our town attorney is made us separate each motion because unlike a normal plat, where when the plat comes in, we accept the whole like tract A, which would cover all of these right-of-ways. These were all personally owned, so we had to get each individual one, and that's why you're having to do so many motions tonight. So I apologize for that, but that's the way he's making us do it. So
That's okay. I would just like to comment that this is a great example of the citizens coming to us, with a solution and working together. And I just appreciate, Matt, you working with all the neighbors along that side of the road. So I think this is a great solution. So any questions for Matt?
I'll take the motion, Marathon.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Councilor Heiser.
I move to approve resolution number 241747, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from property owners Jerry Dittmer and Kenneth Dittmer and Barbara Dittmer for APN 212-42020W, and authorize the town manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
Second.
Thank you. Motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously with Councilor Phillips recusing. Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve resolution number 241748, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from Dean and Mildred Mizaki for APN 212-42078, and authorize the town manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
Second.
A motion is second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve resolution number 241749 and resolution number 241750, accepting the right-of-way dedication deeds from Jeffrey and Janet Phillips for APN 212-42077D and APN 212-42077B, and authorize Town Manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
Second.
Thank you. Motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously with Councilor Phillips recused. Item, Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve resolution number 24-1751, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from Bruce and Cheryl Vernon for APN 212-42077C, and authorize Town Manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously with Councilor Phillips recused. Councilor Heisler, you good?
Yep. I move to approve resolution number 24-1752, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from Keith and Lynn Thomas for APN 212-42079, and authorize Town Manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Councilor Heisler.
I move to approve resolution number 24-1753, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from Mark Giuliani for APN 212-420X, and authorize Town Manager Keith Johnson to execute the documents necessary to complete the right-of-way deed dedication deed.
I second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Councilor Heisler, one more.
I move to approve resolution number 24-1754, accepting the right-of-way dedication deed from William and Linda Koch for APN 212-42020V, and authorize Town Manager Keith Johnson to execute all documents necessary to complete the right-of-way dedication deed.
I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Councilor Heisler. Matt will go ahead with item D6, which is information, discussion, and consideration of resolution number 24-1744, accepting Pine Village Lane, located within town boundaries of Pinetop-Lakeside, as a Category 1 road for the purpose of road maintenance.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for that. Sorry, Tabor. The intentions here is to accept it into our Category 1, which is our highest level of maintenance. It meets all of the standards as it is to come into Category 1, other than it was in some disrepair. So with the generous amount of money that they've offered to help me get it back into perfect condition, I believe that this is a good move for the town to take this in and move on with this. I think it's really helping out the citizens that live on that road. Plus, we will take over snow plowing and all that.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt on this one?
Well, one other thing is that we won't send these off to the recorder until after we've collected the money. So this won't finalize until we've actually collected the financial part.
And you will be plowing that road even though it's not paved yet this
Right.
winter? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Vice Mayor, thank you.
I move to approve resolution number 24-1744, accepting the maintenance of Pine Village Lane by updating the list of Category 1 roads, which was last updated on August 15, 2024, by resolution number 24-1734 for the purpose of maintenance, rehabilitation, and upgrading programs.
Second that.
Thank you. We have a motion, a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on that, Matt. Move on then to item D7, which is information, discussion, and consideration of approving 3 general easement agreements between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and residents on O'Malley Lane for drainage ditch maintenance. You can't get away.
I know, I forgot I had that one. We talked about this the last time, so I won't spend much time on it. I'll just briefly go over it so that the public understands what we're doing here. We have a section of O'Malley that the drainage was not part of the same kind of situation. The drainage was not part of the actual subdivision. However, a majority of the southern side of town drains through this area. And so it just does not make sense for these homeowners to be in charge of a large drainage. We're talking 2 48-inch culverts. And I think at one point when I added it up, it could fill a 1 million gallon tank in like 3 seconds. So it's a lot of water. And so what we're working with each citizen, obviously same thing, is at first they were real hesitant because they felt like we were trying to take their land. And I finally was able to break through with one of the citizens out there, Rick. He's really championed this all the way to the end of meeting with all the citizens and making sure that they understand that basically what they're doing is giving us an easement so that we can help out. If a storm comes and one of those 48-inch storm drains get plugged, I can actually send resources out there to help them get that water out of there. The other side of this conversation is that we know that we're having issues at the end of O'Malley. So once we've captured all of O'Malley, then we can start looking into how we can change the velocities of the water and get the water through there quickly so that we don't flood the houses at the end of O'Malley. So this has been a long-term process that we started in 2019, and I think we're a couple short from having everybody on this road. So I'm excited to keep moving forward with this and get this taken care of for the citizens on O'Malley.
And you are continuing to try to reach out to those two final parcels? Okay. Any other questions or comments for Matt?
Just again for clarification, so there's only 2 left who have not signed in.
I do believe, and the 2 at the end. So we still have controversy down there at the end that I'm still trying to work through, but I'm currently working with an engineer. The one on, which would be the west, is interested in giving up a piece of his land so that we can make it through there. So there might be a compromise there at the end that we've actually got to. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully that'll come to fruition.
Wonderful. Okay, once again, we have 3 motions on this item. So, Vice Mayor.
I move to approve resolution number 24-1755, accepting a general easement agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and Joseph and Mary Jolly for drainage ditch maintenance associated with O'Malley Lane, and authorize town manager Keith Johnson to execute any and all documents necessary to complete the agreement.
Second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve resolution number 24-1756, accepting a general easement agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and Justin and Becky Johnson for drainage ditch maintenance associated with O'Malley Lane, and authorize town manager Keith Johnson to execute any and all documents necessary to complete the agreement.
Second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Vice Mayor?
I move to approve resolution number 24-1757, accepting a general easement agreement between the town of Pinetop-Lakeside and Corey and Tandy Reese for drainage ditch maintenance associated with O'Malley Lane, and authorize town manager Keith Johnson to execute any and all documents necessary to complete the agreement.
Second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Matt. Hopefully we'll get those last 2 figured out soon. Item D8 is a public hearing, discussion, and consideration of ordinance number 24-478, adopting Senate Bill 1162 and adding Chapter 17.128.025, approval of residential zoning applications to Title 17 of the Pinetop-Lakeside Town Code. Jeremiah.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. Senate Bill 1162 is an attempt by the legislature to alleviate some of the housing crisis crunch, and doing this through the avenue of requiring municipalities to establish a time frame for administrative review of zoning applications. This is something that basically we're already doing. It just codifies it. I think it's more of an issue probably down in the valley where municipalities get 20, 30 of these all the time, and they get kind of tied up in the queue and they don't really get processed in time. So this request tonight is just to allow us to follow Senate Bill 1162 and ARS statutes that outline administrative and substantive review timeframes. And so that's the request tonight, is just this is a requirement by January for all municipalities to adopt this. And so that's what we're looking at doing today.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Jeremiah? Councilor Kriegbaum?
On the first page in the blueprint, it says National Register of Historic Places or Planned Area Developments.
Correct.
And then the very last line says Planned Unit Development. Is there any difference between those 2 terms?
They are often used interchangeably.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure.
This language is straight from the League of Cities and Towns.
Right, yeah.
And the adopted statute. So,
I had just
had a
run
similar
into
conversation along the lines with the town.
The PUD instead of PAD often, but I didn't.
For our purposes and intent, they're identical, because we don't, I mean, we
Thank
don't
you.
have plan area development, we have plan unit development.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Vice Mayor?
I'd just like to pass on to you, I get feedback from people in the community who are very pleased with the turnaround time and the, with which you turn around and get things out to them. So keep up the good work there.
All righty.
Yes, well said. This is a public hearing, so is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'd entertain a motion. Counselor Heisler?
I move to adopt ordinance number 24-478, thereby creating Town of Pinetop-Lakeside Town Code, Chapter 17, 128025, approval of residential zoning applications per SB 1162.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. That carries unanimously. Thank you, Jeremiah, for keeping us in compliance. And before we adjourn, I would just like to announce that the Fishers of Men will be installing 200 flags tomorrow morning starting at 9 o'clock at the Jack Barker Park. I know some of our crew will be out there as well as some community volunteers, but I'm sure there's more work for more hands, and it would make it go more quickly if anybody's interested. That starts at 9 o'clock at the Jack Barker Park tomorrow. No further business before us tonight. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.